Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our live trading analysis session. And in this session, we will gonna start our doing our live analysis of Bitcoin. So just buckle up, stay tuned, and we will understand. We will understand from the perspective of traders how they look every candle, what what they make a decision for, what is the risk we can carry here, and things like that. So buckle up, stay tuned, and let's get started. So first of all, let me share my screen. Let's get straight to our trading view. I think probably you guys can to stage. Okay, probably you guys can now see my screen. You can see that the current price of Bitcoin is trading at 87,685. Lovely. Lovely. So, as we can all see, Bitcoin is trading at 87,681. So, first of all, I would want to add two important things for those who are still new to trading journey, those who are still newbies. We used to make videos, educational videos across different platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter for sure. So if you want to learn basic trading terminologies, you are most welcome. You can follow us, you can learn from us about the basic trading technologies. And if you are an experienced trader, I would highly recommend you to use my referral ID, which will help you to avail exclusive benefits and offers. And for those who are also newbies and newcomers, they can also use my referral ID to avail extra benefits and features. So, as you guys can all see on my screen, and if you were with me during the time of our past live stream, I mentioned in today's session we will be doing our analyses, and the time frame would be on 1 minute. So if you were with me in my previous live streams, you would have known how would have we bifurcated the candles, how would we have bifurcated the different time frame selectors, and how we did the analysis. The same way, we will gonna follow the same approach because this ultimately helps us to better understand the trade behavior and then to start our own trade So that's the very effective way I would want to suggest. And as I always mention, always start with the right panel, then jump to left panel. So as you can see, we can just quickly have a look at here that the key stats, if you can see the volume is at this. Average volume from the past 30 days, we can see here it is 2.65K. The trading volume from the past 24 hours, we can see here it is approximately at 44.48 billion. The market capitalization, which you can see is 1.75 trillion, which used to always have same. The performance from the past 1 week, it's 1.62% increase. From the past 1 month, 3.69% increase. And the rest of the other month year, it has been not very good. So as we can, let's start from this. Let's start from 10 a.m., right? So 23rd December, 10 a.m. So let's start doing a deep analysis of every candle started forming after 10 a.m., right? So as you can all see, it's a green candle, right? It's a green candle and they are having a very small, they are having a very small body, right? With just a lower wick, there is no upper wick, right? So what does this intake, right? So at this moment, we can say that the market is still not trending, right? And this candle shows all the, shows basically that the early participation, but there is kind of no side is willing to take responsibility for the direction, right? So buyers, they all test the upside very lightly, and sellers, they test the downside again so lightly, and both they step back, right? So from a risk management point of view, I would say there is no edge environment here, and any entry here is exposed because there is no structure to lean against, right? As you can see, like there is no structure where one can lean on, right? So all the professional traders, they will gonna observe, but they will probably not gonna react, right? Now the next candle which you can see on the screen here is during the time period of 10-1, right? As you can see, there is a whopping large body. You can also notice one thing, there is definitely, and there is no, you know, there is no upper weight, there is just a lower, lower week, which we can see here, right? So, what does this basically intake? So we can say all, basically the it's like the initiative just to enter the market, right? This is the very quick line, very quick statement. I can definitely add in here. It's like a initiative. They try, it's like the initiative to enter the market, right? So this candle marks the first to initiative, right? Buyers are no longer reacting; they are just acting, right? Sellers, they attempt resistance, but they fail to regain control by the close, right? Which we can see here. So structurally, if we have to talk about, so this is the start of the potential trend, right? But it is still very immature, I would say. So all the rest, they exist here because the move has not yet been tested, and all the early trends, they are fragile and probably they are prone to failure if the participation doesn't follow, right? So I would say advanced risk handling here, basically it means to reduce all the size or to delayed entry, not the excitement, right? So this is what this single candle is talking about. Now, when you will see the next candle during the time period of 10:2, right? You can see again, it's a kind of a doji style candle, right? There is an acceptance and balance within the same direction, I would say. So this candle does not push so aggressively, right? And that is precisely why it matters, right? That's the exact reason why it matters. The market, they accept the higher price, they accept all the higher prices instead of rejecting them, right? There is no urgency to exit, there is no counterattack, or like there's no counterattack even from sellers, right? And this is where risk they begin to compress. Always note my point, whatever I'm trying to say, just note my point. So whenever you will see the candle, they're trying to not push aggressively, and this precision basically it matters, because see, the market, they are trying to accept the prices, right, instead of rejecting them. So this is where you will notice risk they begin to compress, right? So structure is forming, volatility is basically controlled, and participation is aligned so far, right? And for experienced traders, this is where the trend becomes tradable, not just visible, right? Now, when you will notice the next candle during the time period of 10:3, right? What you noticed here. See, this candle is basically they attempt to destabilize the trend from within, right? See, sellers, they all push the weak participants, and that is why they react so emotionally. But all the stronger participants, they absorb and they reclaim the control before they close, right? So this behavior is important. This behavior strengthens the trend itself, right? So they failed internally. You can see all the failed internal breakdown. They transfer the risk from weak hands to strong hands, right? And from a risk perspective, I would say this candle teaches one lesson so loudly. Tied the risk management inside trend is punished, right? So structurally, patience again is rewarded. Now, what the next candle is taking about, what the next candle is telling us. What you can see while watching the screen. See, you can see there is hardly any wicks, right? I'm unable to notice, uh, any week, right? So at 10-4, right? So the trend, they are, trend becomes so obvious, which we can notice here, right? So see, we are getting it's a upward kind of trend we are continuously getting, but after this indecision kind of candle, we were about to take a pause and we were about to understand what the next step is holding, right? So see, at 10-4, I would say the move becomes so clear to everyone watching, right? Here the move becomes so clear, so everyone can watch the next move, right? So the market, they pushes so strongly in just one direction, and that too in the green direction, positive direction, and they are confident enough. The confidence, they are speaking itself, they are trying to spread the confidence, right? So see what is happening here, that momentum, they increases, the participation also increased here, and the trend, they look so strong, right? From risk point of view, I would say this is where many new trader, they enter, but this is also where risk quietly increases, right? So the more obvious trend become, the less favorable the risk often is, right? So this is the thing which we need to understand, because here the trend becomes so obvious, right? So always understand, if a trend becomes so obvious, the less favorable the risk would be, right? Now look at the next trend at 10-5. Momentum becomes slow and it looks like danger has been increased, right? So see, this candle, they look so calm, but again, it is very important to understand why. Because the market, they stops pushing so aggressively, even though the trend has been, hasn't broken yet. So this candle looks so calm, as you can see, but always remember, it's a super important, because the market, they stops pushing all the, they stop pushing so aggressively, and that is why the trend has not broken yet. So see, all the strong participants, they begin reducing the position, while all the weaker participants, they keep buying the trades, right? So from a risk point of view, I would say this is a kind of warning phase. The trend is still live, right? But the protection is so critical, and blind confidence here often leads to losses, right? So we need to keep these things in mind. Right now, look at the red candle which was formed at time period of 10-6. The trend breaks, right? Which we can see here. This candle changes literally everything, right? The market, they decisively moves against the previous direction, and now they are close, they are trying to close with the opposite side in control, right? So what is happening here? Buyers, they lose their ability to defend the structure, right? And sellers, they take over, right? And from risk point of view, I would say this is the moment where traders must adapt or probably must exit, right? So holding on to the old bias become dangerous here. So this is the important candle which we need to understand, and from this point of view, we also have to make a note on that this is the moment where all the traders, they must probably adapt or probably exit. So holding on to this situation is probably not a good side, good save, right? Now look at the next trade at 10-7. So the market, they give kind of a false hope. They are trying to give false hope, right? So after this breakdown, the market, they bounce back. And too many people, this feels probably like a, The way you guys can see this on the screen. Lovely. So I would say the market is trying to give the hope, which is definitely not in favor of market, probably not in favor of trade, right? So this is a kind of corrective bounce, I would say. It's not like a recovery kind of signal which the trade is trying to give to us, right? So buying here is probably risky just because the trend has already changed now. And this bounce exists mainly just to rebalance the positions, right? Now, when you will see the next trade at 10:08, right? What you will notice, there is a new direction which is just confirmed, right? What is happening here? I would rather say the market, they shows their true intentions, right? All the sellers, they step back and they push the move forward, right? So see, then the new downtrend they become so clear and structured from this candle itself. Now risk is well defined for trend traders, right? And fighting the trend might become dangerous at this point of view, right? Look at the next green candle at time 10:09. So the market they try to pause the breathe here, right? So after such a strong movement, I would say the market take a pause now. The market took a pause, right? This is probably, this is not uncertainty, it is just digestion, I would say. The market is absorbing all the recent activities, right? And this is where over trading causes a lot of loss, right? So patience is again often the best risk management tool here, which I would want to throw. Now, the next candle which you will see, it basically means buyers they all try but they fail, right? Buyers they attempt to regain the control but their effort is just rejected, which you can see on the screen, right? There is this simple dash, right? So demand is like weak and supply is confident during this time period. And from the risk point of view, I would say it reinforced that buying remains probably unsafe and sellers they still have some control, right? Now, when you will try to notice the next red candle which was formed at 10:11. So it's a big body red candle, not a big, but enough. It's an average body red candle with a high lower week, right? I would rather say that it's a aggressive move, right? Because just after this light green body, when you will see body like these, it's an aggressive move, right? With just a late response. So sellers they push so strongly again, and buyers they respond only after the damage is done. So see, all the buyers they are in defensive mode here, but they were not confident, right? And again, this is not a good place for us to start new trade, right? Basically, it's a place just to manage all the existing one we have, right? Now look at the next candle, which was at 10:12. So see, trend they continue despite being so defensive, right? So even with all the buyer reactions, the market respects the downtrend, right? So see what is happening here. Let's first understand this. So control they remain with sellers, right? And from the risk point of view, I would say they were trying to catch all the bottoms here at high risk, right? So trend here is basically, I would say, discipline. It matters, right? So we need to probably understand the kind of from the point of view from discipline, right? Now look at the next candle at 10:30. There's a very small green body with no upper or no lower week. So this is a kind of relief, but again, it's not reversal. So the market they bounce back, creating kind of short-term optimism, right? So see what is happening. So this move is again so driven by traders and probably by the yeah, all the traders with exiting their positions, but again, there is not a real demand, right? So this is where many traders they get trapped. Why? Because relief feels like a reversal, right? But structurally, it has not changed yet, right? So see, till now, I would want to say that market always tells a story. They never tell just signal, right? So trends they are built through acceptance but not speed, right? And probably all the dangerous moment, they look so calm, but again, they are not so violent, right? And I would also want to say that, you know, from risk management point of view, it basically means knowing when the story has been changed, right? And whenever you will see something like relief, so the bounces are definitely the emotional one, but it is again not a structural one. So I would want to just add with this following things. Let's just take a quick uh, 3 minutes break, and then let's come back and we will continue doing the analysis for the rest of the candles. Lovely. Perfect. So currently Bitcoin is trading at 87,749. Okay. Right. So right after this 10:15. Okay. So after this 10:15, there's this red candle with a very kind of average body shape. There is probably no upper and no lower V, right? So we can say that we are kind of in a messy yet an decisive patch. Candle is like small, but again, it's small and kind of nervous, right? And they are definitely not trying to, uh, they are definitely not trying to become a next trend, but it's definitely trying to find some balance, right? So when candles they get small and alternating kind of candle, the market is usually collecting liquidity but not giving any kind of direction, right? And from the risk lens, I can say that this is where traders they get chopped in, right? So if you must trade, so you trade smaller and only with a clear invalidation, right? So otherwise you just need to wait, right? Now, when you will see the next candle at 10:16, you can see there is a small attempt to push upward, right? Look at the next green candle, right? So you can see there is just a very small attempt just to push upward, but still it does not follow so strongly, right? So this is a kind of testing demand, which I can say buyers they are checking if sellers they will step in or not, right? And from risk point of view, I can say there is no confirmation yet, right? Just do not confuse yourself. A green candle, just do not confuse whenever you see a green candle. Okay, now the price will follow or things like that. So just, uh, you know, just hold with it, right? Now, when you will notice a next candle at 10:17, right? So you will see there's another small candle which is more stalling, right? So this is the basically market which is saying that I am not ready to break yet, right? So from a risk point of view, I can say the best trade here is definitely the patience, right? So they range, they have range behavior, like we can say the range behavior sometimes punish patience, right? And just I would want to add that just the best trade you can take here is just a bit of patience, right? Now, when you will see the next candle, which formed at, let me quickly charge my laptop. It looks like my laptop is draining. Let me quickly recharge. Lovely. So when you notice a next candle at 10:18, right? So you will notice that there is a slightly more directional kind of candle will appear, but again, the body is not clean enough just to call it breakout, right? So this is still range mechanics where your prob is directly representing to the pullback and the pullback is directly representing to prop. So prop, pullback, prop, pullback, prop. This is the kind of uh, workflow it is focusing, right? From the risk lens, I can say in ranges, they stops get hunted, right? And any stop must be outside this range. It is definitely not inside it, right? So this is the important point which you need to keep in mind. Now, when you will notice the next trend at 10, 19, right? So you will notice there is a small counter candle, right? Which often, sometimes it's the annoying one, sometimes it is, right? And they try to tempt people to flip bias, right? This is very normal. This is quite obvious. So this range basically create a fake signals, right? And from risk point of view, I can just want to add. So if you are switching from like long to short, so every candle here you are paying spread and you are also paying the chop tax, right? So this is the only thing which I would want to add from the risk point of view. Now, currently the price is trading at 87,870. Right? So look at the next candle at 10:20. So basically, we start seeing a slight, you know, a better structure where candles they begin leaning in just one direction. That's more consistently, right? So this is the thing which you need to keep in mind. It's not again a trend yet, but the pressure is building, right? And from risk point of view, I can say now we prepare for a break, right? If you don't force it, leave it so that the market prove it, right? Now, when you will notice next candle from 10:21 to 10:24, look at the structure. This looks like stair step, right? So it's like a controlled bullish pressure, right? Which you can see here. So it's the stair step, right? Which we can say it's a kind of controlled bullish pressure. So it's a cleaner bullish candle which prints and holds its progress, right? So this is the first candle that feels like all the buyers they can defend after pushing it. And from risk point of view, I can say this is where all the pros they start thinking trend may form, but they still want confirmation, right? Now, when you will look at the next trend at 10:22, you will realize there is a small pause candle appears, right? But it is important that it doesn't raise the prior much, which we need to keep in mind. That is still bullish. So they are resting, but they are not failing, right? And from the risk point of view, this is, I would say, this is where this is where trend traders like to join, right? Like to join the match after this push during this pause because risk is definitely more definable. Now look at the next candle. There is another bullish continuation which we can notice here, right? So look at this. Now you are not just seeing a sequence, right? Because see, push, then pause, then there's a push. There's again this kind of sequence. That is how uptrend form, right? On just 1 minute. So the from risk point of view, I can say, as soon as you see any sequence like these, you stop guessing and you start following the structure, right? Now look at the next candle. At 10:24, we can say there's a hesitation candle appears, right? Often just with a week, right? Now, they were showing that sellers are present, but buyers they still remain control overall, right? So this is again not an exit candle, it's kind of a manage risk and then observe the candle. So this is this kind of candle it is talking about. Now look at the next candle structure from 10:25 to 10:27, right? What we can see here, there is a breakout impulse. Buyers they take all the initiative, right? So as you can see at 10:25, right? You can see this is where all the market they steps on the gas, right? So the candle is kind of more aggressive in the expander range, right? So this tells us that buyers they are no longer negotiating; they are just taking all the liquidity, right? So impulsive candles usually they start a move, but they never finish it. That's the point which you need to keep a mind on, which you need to take a note somewhere, right? All the impulsive candles they start a move, but they don't finish it, right? So chasing the close is kind of risky, but again, the best entries come on, probably the next pause or maybe the next pullback, right? Now look at the next candle. So the continuation candle they print with confidence, right? So at this point, our audience should understand buyers are not in control and sellers they all are reacting, right? From risk point, I can say if you are long, you trade logically, and if you are not in, don't don't FOMO, right? Now look at the next candle at 10:27. So this candle basically shows that there is a push and there is a strain, right? So you can see signs of basically overhead supply, which is often via some weak or maybe some rejection, right? So that is again not a bearish yet. So it is just the market saying that above here selling will probably exist. So again, from just concluding this candle, I would say this is where all the pros they start protecting their gain, and probably all the late longs they are most vulnerable here, right? Which we can see here. A lot of new news, a lot of new news are coming in. Right? Lovely. Now, then you will notice that from 10:28 to 10:32 UTC, right? So you will notice there is a sharp pullback, right? So see, first of all, let's understand at 10:28 what happened here. So first, all the meaningful red response that shows up, right, just after the impulse. This is very important because the market is no longer just one-sided, right? And the first red after a strong push is again not automatically reversal. It is often profit taking, right? So from risk point of view, I can say if you entered so late, this is where you will panic. Probably you will panic, and if you entered early, you will manage it so calmly, right? Now look at the next candle at 10:29. So see, this another red candle follows through, right? So this is where you probably will, this is not just profit taking, or maybe kind of it's not just special, right? So momentum, traders begin exiting and shorts begin testing, right? So from risk point of view, I can say if price starts breaking the stair step structure, bullish probability will drop fast, right? Now look at the next candle. So at 10:32, you can notice this is the behavior, this is like the very heavier dump where all the candle in that segment, it is the kind that makes the chart feel like it is being snapped, right? So this is where the market does a classic move, trap late longs who bought the top, right? From risk point of view, I can say after this dump candle, they will probably not short the late, right? And late shorts often they get snapped back, right? Now look at the next candle at 10:31. So probably you will see the stabilization near the moving average region here, right? So we can say there is this blue line area, right? So this is the market. They were searching for dynamic support, right? So this is the kind of market who were searching for the dynamic spot. So from risk, I would say there are smart traders. They probably do not buy because they touch the MA, right? And they just wait to see if they hold or and react, right? So see the next candle at 10:32, which we can observe and which you can see here. So there is a response candle that appears, right? All the buyers they show up so again. And this is our first clue the pullback may be ending, right? And from risk point of view, I can say this is where a defined risk long becomes so possible because we now need a structure to lean on, right? Now, when you will notice, so when you will notice candle structure from 10:33 to 10:41, right? So you will notice there is a kind of recovery trend, right? So you can see there is a kind of recovery trend, right? So there is like a controlled climbing track, right? So at 10:33, what you can see there is a strong rebound candle. So basically, this is buyers. They were proving that they can reclaim the control after this flush, basically. So real support is again is not just the line, it is the reaction of the line which we need to keep in mind. Now look at the next candle at 10:34. So there is a very small pause, right? Because market they are trying to catch the bait. So it is kind of healthy if the rebound was fake and it would probably collapse so quickly. Instead it just pauses, right? Now when you will notice the next candle again at 10:35, what are you noticing? Look at this. It's basically there's a continuation upward, right? So we are probably rebuilding the step again, right? The stair step again. From risk point of view, I can say during this phase, the best traders, they will probably buy the pause. They will not buy the top. Right, from the risk point of view, what we can say, or every best traders, they will probably buy the pause, but they will probably not buy the top. Right now, from 1036 to 1038 point of view, look at this. There is a few tight candles which basically which were showing the slow grinder, right? It is again not so explosive, but again it's a kind of stable candle. This is often algorithmic behavior, which we can say, because they all are steady and they are like a controlled pullback, right? From a risk point of view, the only thing which we need to keep in mind, like this is a trend mode, right? So all the stops should be logical and outside the structure. Again, it should not be the emotional ones, right? Now, when you will notice the candle from 1039 to 1041, what you can observe, I basically can say that we can definitely get another small push with minor weeks, right? So market is basically trying to retest the earlier high zone, right? And from risk point of view, as we will approach prior highs, all the reward will definitely shrink and the rejection will and the rejection risk increases, right? From 1042 to 1047, what happens? So basically, I can see that from just checking the chart, what I can assume is there is a volatility plus there is a fake outs, right? When I say fake out, there is definitely a liquidity hunt happened here, right? So when you will notice a chart, when you will notice a chart of 1042, you will notice there is a candle with just a visible rejection shows up, right? There's just a wiki behavior. So this is where all the market they start running both sides, right? So see, whenever you will notice a wick with her wick, when you will notice a wick is equals to your rejection plus liquidity, it is where retail gets baited, right? So keep in mind. Now when you will notice the next candle at 43, 1043, there's this another mixed candle, right? This is again not clean trend, but this is a kind of rotation. From risk point of view, I can say they try to reduce the trading frequency, and this is where all the over trading leads account, right? Similarly, the next candle which shows it looks like we can see a bearish push attempt, but again, it's not so decisive, but it's kind of a warning. When you will notice the next candle, you will see that there's a sharp red candle appears, right? So this is basically a mini flush, right, inside the recovery. So if you were long, probably at this time, this is where you should stop placement, right? Because it matters. And good stops survive the flows, and tight stops they probably get harvested, right? So see, I can I can add like from 10:15 onwards, if you will notice the trend, right? The market is behaving like range. Then we have sometimes controlled uptrend. We also have seen impulse. That's the breakout impulse. We also have seen there is a sharp flush. Then we saw again a recovery grind. So it's a kind of all is related to aggressive reversal back and then into the support, right? So this is the thing which we need to keep in mind. So with here we will stop our analysis. I would just want to add following things. If you are new, you can follow us on our various social platforms where we used to educate users about the trading technologies and terminologies. And if you are already an experienced trader, You can probably use my referral link to avail extra features. So we will be having another live session. I used to announce on my X, so follow me on my X, and I will see you there. Bye.